Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I am Sean Anderson, Most Valuable Podcast, and the upcoming segment is from our full Fast Break podcast that we recorded. And if you do want to check out that full podcast, head over to Blog Talk Radio /The Fast Break. You'll be able to find the full podcast over there.
This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. This is the Fast Break Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. Alongside me, as always, we got Ricky Widmer.
What's up, guys?
And Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
You're not going to block the finger guns?
No, you waved too soon.
I'm tired. I'm just tired, I'll be honest with you. Like, I don't get the energy to block the finger guns tonight.
Low energy, Dave, but we're going to bring you a fantastic, we're going to bring you a fantastic podcast.
Because we're not talking Sixers.
Or are we?
No, we're not talking Sixers. Unless it's draft, Dave.
But we are talking Sixers.
First topic.
You guys love the Sixers. Let us know in the comments how much you love the Sixers, and we'll bring more Sixers content to you.
76ers.
And tell Dave he's a bandwagon.
You pieces of shit.
We're going to start off talking about Jahlil Okafor possibly going to the Bulls, so 76ers and Bulls talk there. If Jahlil Okafor is a good fit for the Chicago Bulls, then we're going to go and talk about Isaiah Thomas, the hottest player in the NBA right now, and then we're going to wrap it up with some Wizards talk because I think I have some apologizing to do. I might have some apologizing
Mr.
to do.
Scott Brooks, who may be on your shit list.
Yeah, I think
Sean, just wait till the end of the season.
We got the Magic right, but I might be wrong on the Wizards. But let's get into Jahlil Okafor. We'll get to the Wizards a little bit later. There's rumors coming out. I believe Mark Stein of ESPN broke it. I'm not entirely sure. There's also a report from Bleacher Report. The 76ers and Bulls reportedly discussing Jahlil Okafor trade. Mike Rankin talked about it on Behind the Pen if you want to check that out. But let's jump in, and the question I got to throw out to you guys is Jahlil Okafor a good fit for the Chicago Bulls?
Well, the only reason why I would say yes in this situation is if we trade for Jahlil Okafor, my first question goes, what are we doing with Taj?
Who?
What are we doing with Taj? Because Taj, contract a year, I've already talked about maybe we should move him. If we go and get Ja, then it's like, then we're for sure getting rid of Taj, right?
Because why would we do that?
Because really, wouldn't you, like, from what the forwards we have right now, we've got Barstow, we've got Bobby Portis, who this year's been a down year after that summer league, but it's one of those things where it's like, okay, Ja can be our 5, and then we can find one of these young kids to be the 4.
I think Taj's defense tries to cover up some of that awfulness that Ja has.
Is he going to come back? That's the thing.
Well, the thing with Taj Gibson, I think he's actually a good fit next to Jahlil Okafor because he doesn't need the ball in his hands. He's great defensively. He can move around. He doesn't need to be staying stagnant, and he can free up space for Ja. I think if anything, that's the real good part about having Ja and Taj. I think those two are
Ja
a good fit.
In could keep Taj to maybe re-sign with us? That's what you're saying?
I don't know if it's going to make
depends
Taj
on the direction of the
resigns,
team.
but at least those two together, obviously taking contracts out, I think those two make a good fit. But I think it's more of the lack of shooting that is going to hurt the Bulls. Am I right, Dave?
I mean, it's what we have to give up for Ja. If we're going to have to give up what's rumored is, some of our shooters like Dougie, Denzel, possibly Isaiah, or, we'll give away Jeremy Grant at this point. But yeah, if we have to give up any of those guys, it's like we're already the worst shooting team in the league, and we're giving up our, sad to say, best shooters. So it's a scary proposal because our offense becomes so dependent on getting in the paint that no team will have to respect us outside at all. I don't know how you can coach that because we'll have such a narrow chance to beat you, and it's just all it takes is, every pick and roll, you go under because they can't shoot. So you just stuff the paint. You can roll multiple bigs. Ja's not a guy who can keep up with a quick-paced game, which might be good for us because, let's be honest, D-Wade is spurts of speed, but then a whole lot of slacking in between.
But then again, Fred Hoiberg's offense, when it's
Fred
ideally
Hoiberg's
running,
offense is out of the...
But what I'm saying...
No.
You got him signed for 5 years.
It doesn't matter what you have him signed for. His
Oh.
offense doesn't exist because we don't have the pieces for it. And the problem is when you don't have the pieces for your offense, you need to adapt. That's what we haven't seen out of Freddie yet.
If you had a capable front office, they would get pieces for it.
Well, it's almost
but
like...
we don't. So,
Bingo.
Well, you guys don't.
The whole point is, though, as the coach, you think he has some...
Our side, Sean?
No, I've just been talking to Mike Rankin. He's just been making me say we.
Oh, no. But the whole thing is, Fred's offense, we all know it. It was based off 3-point shooting, spacing, and good ball passing.
And speed, yeah.
And speed. So we have none of that on this team, and what Ja brings to the table doesn't help us at all get to that. So I think you need Fred to rework his offense, retool it to fit our needs, and honestly, it's going to be some weird... I honestly think our best chance is to go like a no-point guard, all these mid-sized guys of a mix of guards and forwards, and you know what? We're going to play kind of slow down basketball, bring it down to playoff basketball in the middle of the season. I know it's a little bit more work on our guys, but honestly, it's our best chance to win because we don't have guys who can run up and down the court all night anymore. We're depending on a 30-plus-year-old Dwayne Wade, Jimmy, who is phenomenal, but at the same time, we know he can't carry a team on his own, and then a bunch of not quite fitting role players. So your best chance is slow it down. Look, Ja's great offensively. No one's going to argue that. He's got an elite offensive game for a 21-year-old. So he's leagues ahead of everybody else, but
at least in the paint and around the paint. I mean, he's not going to be able to stretch the floor.
I mean, he's a guy who shot 16% from 3 last year because he hasn't taken one this year.
But even even inside the arc, I mean, he's a guy that if you look
outside of 4 feet or 5 feet, I think he's pretty screwed.
If you look in the paint, he's shooting around like 60%, but outside of the paint, he's shooting around 42%, and then beyond the arc, obviously he's shooting nothing because he's not a guy with range.
Yep.
But obviously, I think there's 2 things that would really hurt the Bulls, and you talked about it offensively, where you need to slow down the game because Jimmy Butler's a guy that's not going to kill you from the outside. D Wade's not a guy that's going to kill you from the outside. Dougie McBuckets isn't a guy who's
if we keep him.
Yeah, he's not.
Well,
that's
the question of what we'd have to give up to get Ja, and
we'll get to that a little bit later, like what would be given up. But you really don't have the shooting, so you're going to need to slow it down. But even defensively, you're going to slow it down offensively. You're going to need to slow it down defensively as well because these guys aren't going to be able to run up in court. Really, the only guy that can do that effectively is Jimmy Butler. So do you think
our transition game would suffer?
And the Bulls don't give up a lot of points. The Bulls aren't able to win that many. I mean, they're staying even around
We're still
there.
in the playoffs. We're still in.
But what I want to bring up is will bringing in Ja, a guy who has kind of lacked defensively throughout his career. I mean, he's still young, but has lacked defensively. Do you think that would be a killer for this Bulls defense?
Well, the thing with this Bulls team is once Thibodeau left and Hoiberg came in.
Like, would they get exposed by a fast team is really what I'm saying. Like, they went up against the Rockets tonight.
Like somebody we're talking about next up, maybe Isaiah Thomas was abusing teams with his speed?
Or a team like the Rockets who they're playing tonight. I mean, they would light up this defense, right, Ricky?
It's one of those things where I immediately think of and I look to the NBA. Really, this is an offensive league now. It's no longer a league.
I mean, they've removed all the.
We're going to the hand checking and everything, but this isn't a defensive league anymore. And I mean, right now as we're recording this, it's 115-113 Bulls Rockets in overtime.
Hey,
so I mean, it's one of these things where my big thing with this is, he'd bring something offensively to us, but I think this is a move to where, if it's going to be a good fit for the Bulls, I don't think the buck stops here. I don't think it's one of those things where it's like...
This is the first domino?
Like, I have 2 thoughts. First off, this could be hey, look at our new shiny toy.
He's a hometown guy.
Just to kind of defer from all the drama, and it's a Bulls thing to do. I mean, look at the signing when we got D Wade.
No, Bulls signing would be, we'd go find his cousin, Emeka, sign him to a long-term deal.
It's not actually his cousin.
Do we know?
Well, relative.
Do we know?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm calling them relative.
At all.
They're brothers now.
But my point, the one that I do think about is if we trade for Ja, bring him in, are there other moves that are going to happen? Do we make a Jimmy trade? Do we make a D Wade trade? Do we start to say, you know what? Because of the drama now we're bringing Ja in, who we're going to work with Hoiberg, and that's the thing. Like
and
you were saying,
has drama himself.
Where it's one of those things where you're like, oh, Hoiberg's got to throw it out the window and work with what he got. Yeah, right now, but could this be a situation where Hoiberg can go, let's move some pieces, get guys so I can run my system?
But the problem is the pieces you got to move might not necessarily be the best pieces to move because they're your potential future.
And the piece that we're talking about possibly bringing in, does he even fit your system?
Right, and that's the thing. Like, Ja's a guy who, everybody loves to rag on this kid. It's his second year. He's dealt with injuries already. Like, his progression's held up because of that, I'd like to think.
And the way Joel Embiid's playing, the guy he's supposed to be matching up against, I mean, you see
generational talent.
And you see Embiid as kind of a leader out there where you see...
Did you get yelled at for calling him generational?
Yeah, they can suck my
Okay.
I was right.
All right.
I called it early.
It's a little harsh, but go ahead, Sean.
But with Okafor, you kind of see him, I don't want to say pouting, but he is down, and you see what the 76ers team that's succeeding.
He needs a change of scenery. He needs a change of scenery.
Is that just it, though? Because we've seen in his rookie year, he also had some problems in Boston where he got into an
He's a little
altercation.
mature. He was 20 at the time, or like 19, 20.
No, he's 21.
Exactly. Big difference. Huge difference.
They've a loaded.
Huge.
They have a loaded front court there in Philly, and it's a logjam right now. And I think Ja's the odd man out, and it's one of those things.
Yeah.
He needs a change of scenery. Is Chicago like the perfect fit for him? Probably not. I don't think we're the perfect fit for much of anybody now these days. But the thing is, would a change to Chicago help Ja? It could, just because
I
it's
think
a
you
change
have
of
to
scenery.
try to, because, and you're right. They need to make some effort. And look, Philly doesn't want him there anymore. His value has tanked quite a bit this season from how they've treated him, and his play. It's going to sound bad, but he's gotten better defensively. He's still not passable yet, but he has made some improvements, not as much as people expect to see. But the big thing is his attitude. And for a big guy like him to not give you the effort plays, and what I mean by that is you look at his rebounding numbers on paper, last year he was doing like 17-7. For a dude with his height, his size, he should be able to pull down 10 boards plus no problem. Just stick your arm. I think I was reading Reddit. It was like, just stick your arms if you'll get more rebounds. Seriously, it's not hard, kid.
And the one thing, too, I mean, with Okafor, you also got to worry about his knee. I mean, does he have limited mobility? Is he going to be fully confident on his knee? So looking at what, the negatives that job brings, I mean, you have attitude. You have, I would say, injury problems right now.
Yeah,
and
that's
then really, he's not a perfect piece right now.
He's an offensive black
workable.
hole. He was great at passing it in college, and that was one of the things we all
He's
praised
also
him
playing
for.
on a great Duke team.
But what did that Duke team have? Leadership, and that's they don't have
shooters.
That. Well, that
you bring
helps.
him to the Bulls, that's not going to help.
Oh God. Just remind me again how we can't shoot the ball. But if we get to the point where we could shoot the ball, maybe you could relearn how to pass to the outside, So, I mean, it's one of the things, because you want to get so down on all these negatives that are glaring, but at the same time, you got to remember, this is his second year. He was hurt during the offseason, which, we usually see that progression. After your first season, you really know how to retool your game to fit to the NBA. He didn't really have that chance.
And
so.
it just kind of hit a stunt because
Exactly.
of the injury.
And then the playtime suffers because you have like you said, the logjam of players who kind of fit the Sixers' role better at this point.
Well, let's now go to kind of the stuff that you wanted to get to, and that was really the value of Jahlil Okafor.
And that's the thing. What do we have to give up for him?
Well,
what will we have to?
And what I want to first compare is his value last year, because obviously his value has gone down. And you did an article last year that involved a Bulls 76er trade for
That
Ja.
was when we were talking about like the Jimmy Butler trade, and I had like 4 options the Bulls could do. And what that trade was, for those of you who need a refresher, the Bulls would have given up Jimmy Butler, the pick that ended up being Denzel Valentine, and then this year's Kings pick. So they would have basically got the option for the Kings pick if it fell out of the top 10 or however it works. And then we would have got the Sixers' first round pick last year and Ja, which would have ended up being Ben Simmons and Jahlil Okafor.
So pretty much Jimmy Butler, Denzel Valentine, and a first for Ben Simmons and Ja.
Ended up
that's a
being
lot of value. And now we're talking, if you look at it,
Dougie and Denzel.
You're talking about
and the Kings pick as
Doug
well.
McDermott.
You think that would be
Denzel?
We wouldn't.
Well, and the thing with that is, I don't know if it's lottery protected or top 10 protected.
It's top 10 protected.
So if it's top 10 protected, then it just goes to a second rounder. So you might be giving up a top 10 pick, or you might be giving up a second rounder. So do you think that is too much value for Ja, or too much value for the Bulls to gamble
I don't
on?
want to give up Dougie. That's the one I want to keep.
I don't want to give up Denzel. I know Denzel's old. That's a funny thing. Is like Denzel's 24. Like Ja's 21.
He's an old rookie. He's an old rookie.
He's an old rookie, but he's got potential, and because of his size, I know he's got to learn to defend at an NBA level. But his size and
He's 23, by the way. People will kill you if you get this age
Oh my
wrong.
God! Thank you. When's he gonna be 24? Just
November 16th,
oh, nice,
2017.
So next season.
All right, so yeah, he's 23. Still old, still an old rookie. But yeah, he needs to continue to improve his defensive skills on the court. But honestly, I see a lot of positives out of his play. I liked him coming out of college. We talked him up a lot and what he could do for this Bulls team. I think that Jimmy Butler, if he's going to be the core of this team and he's going to be the guy in Chicago going forward,
But
then,
is he?
Well, the whole thing
That's
is we don't
like
know.
the
That's
big
the unknown.
bloop question
So
mark.
assuming that he is the core, I think that you want to.
I shook my head at the bloop.
Oh, okay.
I was like, what's going on?
That was my little question mark that I drew.
He's giving you some.
You know my feelings about Jimmy Butler being a number one. He's a crybaby whiner.
Okay,
and that's
not
fine.
the point. Go on.
Hypothetical.
I know, I'm just saying.
Hypothetical. If Jimmy's our one,
Yeah,
we want to win now. It's the question of who's going to best support that. And you might be right. McBuckets might be the better option because he's
hate
been in the
that,
league
though.
longer, but he can't play defense. The thing that I hate is the fact that the Bulls don't use him to his full potential, and his growth has been stunted by being here. Do you remember watching him in college at Creighton? Mm-hmm. Like
He was also at Creighton.
He
He also had his dad as the coach.
He was also at Creighton.
I mean, both fair.
Creighton was a good team with Doug
garbage.
McBucket.
Jimmer Fredette.
He was a dynamic offensive player. I would. That's
so
fair.
was Jimmer Fredette.
But again, in the NBA, we only see him stand behind the 3-point line, and then those when people don't challenge him, he takes it to the hoop because again, he's deceptively athletic.
Well, we've seen Dougie's kind of
High motor,
max when he plays against Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto is our steroids
And that's the thing. You see him, show his ability to get to the rim. You see his ability to create his own shot. You see his
and
ability
he's
to stand
moving
up.
out there. That's the other thing is by him being mobile on the floor, you get the chance for better looks for other guys. As opposed, it's like what we watched with K Love on the Cavs when his first year was depressing as all hell. Watch him stand in the corner, like, so you're gonna throw me the ball for a three, or I'm gonna do nothing on offense.
Man,
like,
I used to get how many rebounds in Minnesota?
Exactly. I mean, it's just like I feel like he
He's
could
doing
be used
20-20
better.
like every night.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's ridiculous. So that's my concerns. Like Dougie, I could see him go be successful somewhere else. But I want to hold on to Denzel, even with that known, because I haven't seen enough, and he's locked down contract-wise. That's why I think Ja's value.
So is Ja. Ja's
that's
in
my
his
point.
second
Is
year.
I think Ja. That's why he still has value. Is he's a young guy, second year, but he still has contract to tie up.
And one thing too with Denzel, he might be a guy that's more eager to get a bigger contract right away. I mean, I don't know if he really earned it. You really can't say Ja's earned a huge contract right now as well.
Not yet. Yeah.
So I mean, a guy who's younger might be willing to take a lower deal or lesser of a deal just because he knows that next big one is coming up. Where Denzel, a guy who's dealt with a lot of injuries, and if he does have one great season, he might be like, well, my time's running up. I need a big deal, or
we
I'll
got
take
years
a
on
one-year
him
contract.
now.
So
I mean, he's a first round pick. We got years.
And the one thing that I go back to is what you said with the Bulls, like, oh, we want to stay relevant, we want to compete. Let's get one thing clear. The Bulls are not competing. We are staying relevant. Like right now, and the game has not finished yet. We're down by 2 with 20 seconds left in overtime. We're the 7th seed as of right now.
Too.
We are the 7th seed as of right now, only 2 games ahead of Detroit and Charlotte, who got a big piece in a good trade with
big
theirs.
Piece, good trade.
By big, I mean contract.
Important.
But the big thing with the Bulls is I don't want this to be, we went after Ja, we're going to compete. No, we are not going to compete.
That should be the sign of a
fix
rebuild.
This team, and that's what I want. It's if we go and get Ja, my next move is who's getting Jimmy.
Yep.
Get him out of here.
Yeah, I think that. Well, the problem is that's our answer, and that's as fans of the game, fans of the Bulls, and I don't necessarily see Garpax going that route. I think that's the big problem. Is
No, because we can hang on, we can be relevant.
we can be relevant. We can send somebody.
That's Jerry Reinsdorf's idea.
It starts there and it just trickles
Again, remember-
Because who's pulling the strings? It's Jerry Reinsdorf. Look at the White Sox. Same
Remember
thing.
Reinsdorf? It's that one White Sox championship was more valuable than every Bulls championship combined. Said that, and that was just a giant slap in the face to Chicago.
Well, and it's just because.
But he's rebuilding the Sox at this point, so you think
why?
maybe
Because they're 29th in attendance. Look at the Bulls; they're first in attendance.
Really?
He's making money. He's making money.
we're first in it. That blows my mind.
we love our team, Dave.
It's first or top
Hashtag
5.
See Red.
It's first
Possible.
or top 5.
Possible.
I mean, and it also might just because the Oracle might be smaller than the UC, so it might be something where the Bulls are selling out.
They're still
and
getting
the Oracle's
fans.
still
That's the
selling out.
point.
They're still getting fans, and that's the thing. And right now, if you do give up that first rounder for Ja, if we're throwing that out there, it would still be Sacramento's pick because it's in the top 10.
But it's one of those things of even if you give up that pick, okay, we don't get it.
We still
And
have
then-
our pick, though.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If we get Ja, then okay, if we're making the playoffs, it ain't a lottery pick. Is that what we want? Is that what we want? Do we want to have that kind of low-end pick that's not in the lottery?
If we fall out though, because we're gonna trade, that's why I like your domino effect.
No. That's what I'm saying. Like if they say we're getting Ja, but keeping Jimmy and Wade to still make the playoffs, it's like no, we can't do that.
I like the domino effect. I think that Ja is a great starting piece. Between him, we've seen weirdly enough, Zipser has kind of started to earn his role on this team. I think it was funny because we were all getting like shit in the draft. They were like, and some German guy like Paul Zipser,
I didn't know
he could do some stuff for us, I guess.
I honestly thought he was gonna be like, remember the Snell draft where it was like, we got Eric Murphy. Who the fuck is Eric Murphy? And then
Was he from VCU?
No, he was Florida.
Okay, there was an Eric Murphy.
But he's not on the team anymore. That's my point. That's what I thought Paul Zipsa was going to be.
Yeah, but so it's the fact that we've got younger guys. Denzel, I think there's a lot of potential there, and I think you can still salvage Bobby at some point. Felicio, like there's pieces here to young build around, and we need to.
And with Jimmy and Wade, you can get more picks. So Hoiberg can, if you let Hoiberg get the guys he wants.
Yeah, there's no trade clause to worry about.
All right, so final things we're going to take it. We're going to wrap this up. If it's Dougie, Denzel, and the Kings pick for Jahlil Okafor, would you do it, Dave?
I wouldn't pull the trigger. Unless I got like a guarantee that Jimmy's next.
Can I get one follow-up question? Is Jimmy being traded or not traded?
Jimmy is going to stay on the team for this year. For the rest of this year.
Nope.
All right.
Nope.
So I really don't
have
I don't have a stance on here because I think Ja has a lot of potential, and I think he has a lot of potential. But bringing him to the Bulls where there is no shooting around him, I think at what Ja can be, at least offensively, I think it could be very similar to if you're going to put him in a prime situation, you need to put him in a situation where it's like Dwight in Orlando when he took him to the finals, where you need to surround him with shooters, let him work down low. Surround him with shooters, surround him with guys that can hit shots from the outside, and that's really going to be their game plan. He's not going to be the defensive monster that Dwight was, but he might be able to show a little more prowess than Dwight was.
Offensively, he's in the category of like an Al Jefferson. It's going to be nice if he can live up to that potential, but it's going to depend heavily on his supporting cast. And they all want to say that your game's outdated, you don't fit the modern NBA, but look, if you are able to excel so much at one key aspect of the game, you can build a spot. You're going to have a spot. Even if you're coming off the bench, you can still put up ridiculous numbers.
Put the damn kid on the Warriors. See what happens.
Jesus Christ.
You change the NBA would be done. I mean, it's Warrior basketball. We're going to wrap up the talk on Jahlil Okafor, but real quick, just want to mention Bulls did lose 121-117. And you can blame Fred Hoiberg took out pretty much the start of the game for the Bulls. Michael Carter-Williams threw in, I believe Nikola Mirotic. So,
that man cannot defend a pick and roll to save his life.
Anyways.
Yeah, at least we're in it.
Anyways. Thank you. Oh, shit. It's just one of our videos scared me a little bit. Don't forget to check out that one. And also don't forget to check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. But thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.